Good afternoon, everyone. It's Tracy Cromwell here, your certified integrative nutrition health coach and precision nutrition health coach and personal trainer. And I'm excited to be here today. I have a very special guest with me. I have Andrew Kap with me. And Andrew, we met through a connection, which I'm so happy about. And I brought you on because a lot of what you practice is what has helped me create my healthy life, my healthy lifestyle. And so for everybody else, Andrew holds one goal above all others through his various projects: genuine and sustainable impact. His latest offering, The Last Law of Attraction book you'll ever need to read, offers readers a new, before-seen understanding of the topic that no other law of attraction book has ever been able to do. By going the extra mile of finally addressing why people who get excited about trying still can't manage to get in the habit of using these methods for just 5 minutes a day. Did I read that right? I may have missed. Okay, great.
That's great, Tracy.
The book has enjoyed continued success, including hundreds of 5-star rave reviews, a #1 bestseller status in multiple categories on Amazon, and growing YouTube channel devoted to it. And in the comments, I have included links to his YouTube channel and to his book. And at the end of the broadcast, I'll go ahead and put those up on the screen as well. And so everybody watching today or watching the replay, I'm excited you're here. And then also for those that are listening on the podcast, I just want to remind you that this was recorded live. And so any live events, you'll just get to enjoy them as well. So anyway, welcome to the show.
Tracy, thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate being on. I don't have any cats or dogs, so if there are live events, it won't be an animal jumping up out of nowhere on my screen. But nonetheless, I'm really excited about where we might go with this conversation. And as you so eloquently put, in my bio, for me, this is about, and I'm sure we'll go down this path in the conversation, about identifying the fact that sometimes there's things that people know they should do, whether they're into law of attraction or they're into working out or health or fitness or whatever it might be, and they don't. Why can't they do a law of attraction method for just 5 minutes a day? What's going on with that? So again, I'm really excited to be in this conversation with you and to be live talking in front of your audience right now.
Great. Yes. One thing that I really work with my clients and also in the book was the discussion of why, and being, I guess, too, an avid learner about yourself, an avid learner about how your mind works, and how that can really impact your whole life. So we may think we need to work on fitness alone, or finances alone, or career alone, or food, whatever it might be. But you know what? One of my thoughts is, once you figure it out in one area, you can take that resource actually to all areas of your life. So I would love to hear your thoughts on that, with the way you're thinking and how those thoughts go out into the world and deliver back results, all that stuff.
Yeah. And just to quickly address one piece here, just because you mentioned it, the fact that by shoring yourself up in one part of your life, I wouldn't even say, not only does it leave room, it leaves a strong foundation to lean on as you then improve other parts of your life. It becomes, it seems like an individual, one-to-one thing, but it really does become a holistic advantage if you're willing to see that. And the beauty is, you improve one thing and it helps you improve another. Then both those things help you improve another, and it could really cascade and take off and really go way faster and way better than people might expect once they allow themselves to kind of get in that rhythm of moving forward in their life in that way.
Exactly. And in my book, I've got what's called a life radar, and we look at the areas, of the career, joy, spirituality, finances, all of that. And again, with that concept that some areas may be really, really doing well, and then you might find an area that you want to improve or where you have growth opportunity. And so, having the skills, what were those skills that got you successful in one area, you can actually implement somewhere else. But again, I want to hear your thoughts on how to implement things. That's why I've got you here. So
Well, it's interesting, and we were talking before we hit the record button, and
Mhm.
as you described it, and you let me know if I'm putting words in your mouth. You are about like doing the work,
Mhm.
actually like getting down to it and doing it. And I agree 100% of. I don't use the word work, but the willingness to do the things that will do that will
Mhm.
invite that. But with that in mind, there's unhealthy cheat codes and there's healthy cheat codes. And what I mean by that is there's ways where you think you're shortcutting the system, but you're actually not doing anything. And there's
Mhm.
other ways by which you are really literally leapfrogging in your progress that you can do that are very easy. And the biggest example that I have that really is in line with what I teach in my book and what I have just in conversations with people is gratitude.
Mm.
And I'm very careful in how I say that, Tracy, because I think, especially in the law of attraction space, but just in the personal development space, gratitude is almost like this trendy fad word where people say it and they talk about it and they kind of know about it, but they don't really understand the power behind it. They also don't understand how easy and simple it is to implement, in that it will create results for them. And I call it a cheat code because once you're doing that, then those things that we were just talking about a couple of minutes ago, where you're improving, you have more enthusiasm, you have better ideas, you have more attention, you have better energy, you have all these necessary ingredients that are flawlessly kind of coming into the mix for you
Mhm.
because gratitude has added an extra layer, whether you believe in the law of attraction and how it goes through that, or you don't.
I love that. One big the one big thing that really helped me, I was pre-diabetic, yo-yo dieter, loathed my body since probably teen years. Never, you know, had gratitude for myself or my body. And when I flipped that switch and I decided that I had gratitude for my body, no matter what shape it was in at the time, that I cared for it, I loved it, I appreciated myself, had gratitude. I don't know, it turned in my mind that I was worthy of creating the life that I wanted in terms of my health. I love what you said, that the for me, in my story, that was something that was so significant, was just, instead of loathing and looking outside of me for everything to get better, I was realizing, oh my word, the answer was gratitude for myself, gratitude for this body and what it could do,
Yes.
instead of despising it.
It's also, and this is just me saying this, but it's easier to do than people realize if they just have
Mhm.
a slight shift in their perspective. For
I love it.
example, we all, at some point or another, we might have like body image issues or something like that. But
Mhm.
if you stop and think about it, who could not, who couldn't be grateful for their heart? Your heart that's been beating inside your chest every single second of every day, of every
Mhm.
week, every month, every year, every decade, since even before the day you were born, since you were still in the womb. Who could
Mhm.
not have gratitude for the fact that it's pumping blood and nutrients and oxygen tirelessly to the rest of your body, which is also serving you, even if your back hurts, or even if you're not happy with your weight, or you're not happy with your skin or something like that? Your body is still doing so much in service to you. And when you start to sit back and think about that, you have a whole new level of gratitude. And then, at least from where I sit, I know we're not talking about law of attraction right now, but everything's related. When you're in that vibe of gratitude for yourself, regardless of
Mhm.
where your body is in your image and your judgment, eating better becomes easier because you're more motivated to take care of the body that's been taking care of you. Working out
Mhm.
becomes easier. You feel better. You just have a brighter outlook as you go about it. And it fuels what you do in so many ways that a lot of times we don't even see. We don't even
Mhm.
recognize the way we're being fueled and moved along when we have gratitude for our bodies in any which way that we can actually think of, and any which way that we can actually acknowledge. And there's plenty of ways to acknowledge it.
Absolutely. And so you and I are on the same wavelength, because I have a private Facebook group, women building body confidence from the inside out. And sometimes we'll do a random, pick a body part and give it some love, and I think about it, what does our body do for us every day? It does its best to show up for us. It does the best to carry us. And and so again, for me, that was one of the most significant changes, that I gave it gratitude, compassion, and yes, I wanted to feed it better. I wanted to do all those things. So absolutely. Those listening and watching, this is, in my opinion, spot on. Spot on.
Awesome.
Yeah. 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 So what other concepts, life is inclusive,
Mhm.
our health, our mindset, all of that, it's all inclusive. So, what are some other areas that you would recommend we could look at things a little bit different?
Yeah, well, if I may, I'd love to talk about what I think is one of the most important points in my book. And you'll notice, by the way,
Mhm.
I mean, kudos to you. You said it flawlessly. I know the title of my book is a word salad. It's like, whoa, what a long title. The last law of attraction book you'll ever need to read, right?
It looks like a salad too. It's got beautiful color and
Yep. Anything to stand out on that page on Amazon, right? And you notice I don't say it's the last law of attraction book you'll ever read. I mean, it can be. It's the last law of attraction book you'll ever need to read. And what I mean by that is what I address in this book, in addition, hopefully, to explaining the law of attraction in a clear, easy way, and in addition to making easy, user-friendly methods, I like to hold a mirror in front of the reader and explain to them, based on my own personal experience of shooting myself in the foot, why it is we get excited about the law of attraction, or weight loss, or fitness, or diet, or exercise, or relationships, or anything else, why we get excited about these things, and
Mhm,
why we learn methods that we can actually use. And then maybe we even start to do them and we even start to get results, and then we still stop. That's
mhm.
the issue in my opinion. We see that it works and we still don't do it. And the question is why? And the major point that I would want to convey to your audience right now, and keep in mind, I'm not a clinical psychologist, so these definitions I'm using very liberally. But the way I see it, we've got three minds. We've got our conscious mind, and we've got our subconscious mind, and right in the middle, we've got the ego, or what I define as the ego. Now, your ego is way stronger than your conscious mind, but nothing compared to your subconscious. And again, the ego, as I define it, only has one job in this world, and that's to keep you alive. And that's really important to consider, because where you are right now in your life, with your job problems, your money problems, your career problems, your relationship problems, and even your health problems, all your ego knows is that in this moment you are alive. And what it doesn't want to do is it does not want to risk the status quo of any kind of change, even if you think it's a positive change, because it doesn't know. It knows right now you're alive. It doesn't know if you'll still be alive then. And to use an extreme example, and to make this a long-winded answer,
Oh,
someone out there might want to be rich and famous, right? But for all your ego knows is when you become famous, you'll get a bunch of stalkers, and that's a threat to your survival. For all your ego knows is when you get rich, distant family is going to come out of the woodwork and try to take your house from you and try to threat your survival, right? So what your ego is going to do, again, being stronger than your conscious mind, is even when it starts to see that you're doing something, it's like, whoa, I don't know. And by the way, I I as the ego love my person, and I'm only doing this in a misguided attempt to keep them safe. But I am going to use what I know about them in terms of their fears, uncertainties, and doubts, and I'm going to talk them out of that. I'm going to keep them from doing it. Which, again, to make this a long answer, raises the important question: if that's true, well, how do we get around this?
mhm.
Well, from where I sit, what we want to do is we want to bypass the ego and access the subconscious mind, because it's the subconscious mind that'll do a lot of the heavy lifting in terms of, if you believe in the universe like me, stretching out and extending vibrations that are going to be magnetically attracted back. And if you don't believe in that, it's still going to govern your actions and behaviors, because it's a supercomputer, and it's going to help you get to the finish line way easier. And the way to do this is to engage in things in any which way you can to find the fun and enjoyment in them, any which way you can to look forward to something like a 5-minute gratitude exercise. Because I've never found a football fan, like a football fanatic, for example, who looked at me and said, Andrew, you mean I have to go to the Super Bowl this year? It's like, they never do that. They're excited. They're pumped. They don't, it's not a chore. It's a choice. It's not something they have to do. It's something they get to do. So for me, from where I sit, and obviously what I try to do in the context of law of attraction through my methods, but what can also work in terms of, weight loss, diet, exercise, things like that, is you want to strategically find the things that you enjoy or find enjoyment through them, so that you look forward enough to them, so that you do them long enough and consistently enough to get a result. And once you've gotten that result, no one can ever take it from you. You know forever, for the rest of your life, that whatever you're doing works if you actually work it.
Yep. Yep. Again, another reason I know we were meant to talk, because it's fun, really fun to hear your thoughts on this. And I've expressed to clients and in some of my videos, is the ego, the brain's just hey, you woke up today, so we did our job.
Yeah.
Why?
It's like, I'm clocking out now.
Why do I have to do anything different?
Yes.
And it's like, maybe, and again, true, that fear, the fear of change, and well, what if, all the what ifs, what all, it gets so muddy. And so, uh, and then the actual, if we just let that subconscious mind drive,
Hmm.
and then help release that ego a bit, and I guess I was thinking of it, we have to train it. We have to get it on board in some way that works for our mind to release us, so we have the opportunity to achieve the goals we want to achieve,
Yes.
and
Now, Tracy, there's a silver lining to this, by the way, because here I'm just talking about this ego and I'm making it sound like this not impossible to defeat foe. I mean, certainly the subconscious can defeat it, but the really cool thing is when you reach that next level, you get that next level in love or in your job, your finances, in your body image and your weight. Your ego now knows that that is safe. So it has a new leveraging point to fight to defend that for you. This
Yep.
is why, I mean, I know, you talk a lot about like, food and health, but this, to give an example, is why some people, they'll make six figures, they'll lose that job, and within a year, somehow by hook or by crook, they're making six figures again because their internal financial thermostat says that that is safe and that's doable. And their ego's like, all right, we're doing this. And that
Yep.
same goes for like, some people, they'll go up and down in weight, but their ego knows that there's a certain point that they've reached a certain level that they can do it. And I mean, obviously we can talk about muscle memory and things like that. And we can talk about the fact that you got to get into a workout routine again. But in my experience, because I've been busy and not busy, so I've had more time to work out and less time to work out. Even though as we get older, there's hormones changing and things like that. For me, it gets easier and easier to at least get my body on the path to it because it's done it so many times before. The muscle mass and the muscle memory pick things up. When I start lifting or I start doing yoga again, I could already feel it in my muscles. There's a burning of that lactic acid. There's a pain, but there's also an excitement and an enthusiasm that I can feel in my body. Like, yeah, I'm used to this. I'm ready for this. I remember when Andrew stood a little bit taller. I remember when he had a six pack and all this, and I'm excited to do this. It's actually, in my view, it's embedded in the memory of our muscles and our cells and everything about us.
Right. And you made a really great point, because this is all a journey, and we go through different periods in our lives, and sometimes we may have to rebuild what we had. That could be, we may have to rebuild our finances, we may have to rebuild our body, we may have to rebuild our health, we may have to, whatever that is. And that is true. That's where that drive, that ego can help us. And I love the concept of the thermostat, because it's really true. My thermostat is not what it was for my health 10, 15 years ago. My thermostat is much different now. And that ego is helping me in a much different way today in that regard, and it's happy now. It's like, wow, I didn't know we could feel this good. I didn't know that we could do these things, without being angry at our body. I didn't know that, and it's a really great thing to have happen. Yeah.
And it's just cool to keep in mind. Your ego wants you to be alive. It's going to fight tooth and nail for it. So why not give it a pleasant example of what to fight for? Why not give it something that it's really going to be behind? It almost becomes an extra motivation when you're making whatever decisions you're making on the pathway to whatever improvements you want to make.
Yeah. And sometimes for me, when that part of my brain is afraid, and it's like, whoa, like when I started doing these broadcasts, or the thought of it, I thought I was going to throw up, because it knew I was going to die. My ego is like, you're going to die. It's all over. And I said, well, let's just try, let's just go for it. What really could go wrong, and now it's like, I can't wait to do it. Let's get some great speakers. Let's do, but sorry, 90 days ago, 4 months ago, no. It's really fun to see that happen. And, as somebody that wants to grow in their health or fitness or finance or whatever, maybe, like you said, have a fun enjoyment of that process.
Yeah. And by the way, you just articulated something really beautiful. And again, I'm putting words in your mouth right now and I'm projecting, but what I heard you say was you wanted something bad enough that you went through the discomfort. And that discomfort
Mhm.
was your ego scared. But once you
Mhm.
made it through that level and your ego saw the safety, that discomfort transformed into comfort and enthusiasm.
Yeah.
And I think that's what comes into, when it comes to diet or exercise or the law of
Mhm.
attraction or other things, that discomfort, people are like, I'm not even going to look closely enough at this to see where it's coming from. Spoiler alert, it's your ego that's freaked out. But realizing if they want something enough, sometimes they'll fight tooth and nail just enough to get a higher level. And then
Mhm.
that discomfort has transformed a little bit. And again,
Mhm.
I bring this up because people listening, I just want people to be excited and enthusiastic about the potential of leveling up just a little bit and going through that slight discomfort, because realizing on the other side of that is an amazing plateau, an amazing foundation that they can grow off of with a lot more power and a lot more energy and just a lot more magic. I'm
Yeah.
not even going to hide from that word. It's going to feel like magical to them when they do it.
It does, oh, I wanted to go back to, oh, darn, I lost my thought.
That's what happens when I give my long-winded answers, right, Tracy?
No, it's
Like,
really good though too. I was happy with what you said. No, it's fine. It's really good. Um, the oh, that's what it was. All right. So a lot of fears people have with weight loss, for
mhm.
example. I'm just going to do this and I'll try again, but it's all going to come back anyway.
Hmm.
And there's that fear of if I try again, I'm just going to be a failure again. I'm just going to be, all those words come that are very painful, and so there's fear of trying that one more time. And what I have my thoughts on that, and what got me through that. But let's just say I have someone watching this or listening, and their mind is saying that they really want to go for it again, but that mind is just stopping them.
Yeah. It's so interesting and synchronistic to hear you ask me about this. No one's ever asked me about it specifically in this way before, but I
Hmm.
didn't hear this, and I'm going to go full circle and address it. But this actually mirrors something that I covered in the intro to my book about law of
Hmm.
attraction.
Hmm.
Why do people read this? Why do people read a really awesome law of attraction book, and rather than doing what it says, they go on to another one, and then
Hmm.
another one, and then another
Hmm.
one, and they actually don't stop and do what they do? Because there's this fear in the background. There's this echo of uncertainty, and there's this fear of unworthiness. That what if the law of attraction doesn't really work? And the only way, like, I have hope right now. At least I have hope. If I don't actually try it, I at least have hope. If I don't try it, at least I don't have to worry about that. Maybe it works for everyone, but not for me. So this whole thing of I'm just going to do it and it's going to, not work for me again. Weight loss, a diet, exercise plan. This, to me, in my experience and what I've gone through in my life for other areas, is really saying I have hope right now, and the last thing I want, it's not even worth the trade-off of possibly getting what I want. I don't want to have a hopelessness situation where what if I go all in and it didn't work and then I'm left with nothing, and then I have to resign myself to the fact that it was never going to work out, and I have to resign myself to the fact that my life will never be what I want it to be. And the
Hmm.
only answer I can give to people is that's a lie. And that's your ego freaking out because, again, it wants to keep you safe. All I can say is no matter how many times you tried and failed, stopped and started, all you have to do is look around at you at people that you are jealous of, and that's okay. Don't judge yourself. The fact that they've done it, the fact that they've reached that level is a demonstration of the human potential to do this, and you are a human as well. So whatever BS excuse, I'll be careful with my language here, whatever BS excuse you want to use to keep yourself out of it,
Hmm.
just at least acknowledge the fact that you are lying to yourself, that you should not feel bad about it, that you should not judge yourself because you're doing this, that you should not feel guilty. You should not beat yourself up just because you've been doing this, because again, it's natural human tendency. But it's just, I just want to remind you, this can be done, whether it's law of attraction or whether it's diet or exercise or whether it's money or relationships. There's a light at the end of the tunnel that you will reach as long as you care enough to do it. And in my opinion, as long as you find ways that are making the journey enjoyable in some way, shape, or form, because at least from where I sit, it's not possible without consistency. And consistency is not possible without satisfaction and anticipation. Therefore, find ways in this process, in this journey, whether it's cheat meals or whether it's healthy meals that taste really good, or whether it's a group of people that you love to hang out with, that will do a workout with you, or whatever it might be, things where you will enjoy what you're doing long enough to have the consistency to have the result. And then you will see that it's impossible to fall back down from there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree with that. And it's the allowing yourself to, and I think too, we think about if we can put the spin on our mind to say, let's have fun learning what works best for our body. Let's have fun learning how to, build our career. Let's have fun learning about financial success and, making it, I don't know, a fun game, or making it a period of exploration. One thing in my book too, but also when I work directly with people, it's like, let's have fun figuring it out instead of being in that other mindset, but how can let's just figure it out. And if we may get a reaction we don't really want, okay, well, what was that about? And we figure that out. And it really seems to relieve a lot of that pressure.
Yes. And Tracy, you just used, to me, one of the most important words in the context of any kind of improvement you want to make in your life. You said relieve. Relief is a huge part of this. And this what goes back to why I want to encourage people to not judge themselves and to not guilt themselves and not to feel bad because they couldn't keep up that diet or that workout routine or whatever it might be, because I'm a strategy guy, and strategically speaking, that is counterproductive to what you want. What you instead want is to introduce and induce relief in any which way that you can in your life and in your energy, because that's going to make your forward journey a lot easier.
Yeah, absolutely. The other thing too that I found is that when we look at our own lives, there are things that are systematic, but everyone's life brings in different dynamics, brings in different emotions, brings in a different story into the equation. And knowing that your journey is not going to be a cookie cutter copy of someone else's, and embracing that journey,
So one thing, it's when I have this program, it's not even available now. I only make it available once a year. I do it at the beginning of the year. It's kind of like this gratitude program where I give people a new way of looking and experiencing gratitude every single day. It's like a 30-day thing. And one of the most important ways that I do it is I explain people to kind of look at their life as a movie and look at them as the star. And just as an experiment, just to go about one day doing that and understand you are living a really important story right now, and you get to decide, are you in a comeback story? Are you in a romantic comedy? Are you the hero? Are you the heroine? Like, who are you and what kind of story it is? If you really, it sounds almost silly, but if you really sit down and think about it, like, wow, this is my movie and I'm the star. I'm not the background. I'm not the supporting character. Like, I am the star right now. That then you get to look at your journey as, at every point in the movie where the hero is down and they've got to make that comeback, they've got to make that improvement, they've got to make that pivot. That rubber band, the elastic gets pulled back, it's got to snap forward. You are the star of your own movie, and this is your opportunity to have that comeback story or to have that huge victory, that huge triumph. And it literally is, it happens. It happens when you engage in it in that way.
I love it. Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, I know that you and I could probably talk another hour easily.
For sure.
Yeah, this has been so great. It's gone so fast. I really appreciate everything you've said. We are definitely on a very, I would say our mindsets are very similar in how we think, and then also just you've brought some great concepts, about the three minds: the conscious, the subconscious, and that ego, and understanding those relationships. You mentioned make life fun, discovery, and excitement, and then you have your number one was gratitude, and to recap, what I heard too was and I'll put words in your mouth, but even how small it might be, I could sit there and have gratitude for, oh my gosh, this amazing, opportunity, number one, to talk with you, or the gratitude for the computer cord, that's giving this computer power. Or in terms of health, you mentioned gratitude for my heart, that my heart is beating every single day, So, we could challenge those watching and listening, do gratitude every
Yeah.
single day, all those little things.
Yes. And
Yeah.
one quick thing, I'm not sure how much time we have. Just understand joy
Mhm.
is a result, but joy can also be a strategy.
Mm.
Induce joy through your gratitude, and you'll find more reasons to be joyful. And that in and of itself is its own reward.
Yeah. Yeah. I love that. Great. Gosh. Oh, you know what I need to do? I'm going to put up a banner really quick. So, to follow Andrew, he does have a YouTube channel. So you can find him, Andrew Kap. And then also his book is on Amazon, and it's Last Law of Attraction book.com. And so I've ordered my copy. I can't wait for it to come. And again, thanks for being here. And I really appreciate you taking the time.
Tracy, thank you so much for having me, and thank you for being so intentional with these questions and with your audience. I could tell you really care about the show, and it was really my pleasure to be a part of it today.
Great. Thank you so much. So hang on, Andrew, and I'll go ahead and end the broadcast. Okay, everybody, have a wonderful day.